Good morning. This is the intelligence briefing for Wednesday, February 18th, 2026.
All right, let's take a look at our operational roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with the evolving India-France partnership. Then, we'll jump into key updates from macro politics and governance. After that, we've got some corporate intelligence for you, followed by two distinct editorial perspectives. And as always, we'll finish up with the market close. So, let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into our lead story. And it's a big one. The India-France relationship is getting a major upgrade. So, what's happening? Well, Prime Minister Modi and President Macron have officially reframed their country's ties, now calling it a special global strategic partnership. Now, the language here is really important. They are positioning this relationship as a crucial anchor of stability in what is a pretty volatile world, really emphasizing alignment around the rule of law and a shared goal for a global order without hegemony. And this isn't just talk, right? They're hard-wiring this partnership with several concrete agreements that go way beyond rhetoric. We're talking about an amendment to their double taxation agreement, the launch of an annual foreign ministers' dialogue to track their big Horizon 2047 roadmap, and a major pact that actually allows for the reciprocal deployment of their armed forces. So as you can see, the portfolio is expansive. It's stretching all the way across health, defense, and technology.
So what's the crucial strategic implication? Well, it's a deliberate shift away from simple diplomacy towards tangible, joint industrial production. The focus now is squarely on co-manufacturing and building a shared capacity for global exports. And this isn't some ambition for the distant future. The initial approval for 114 Rafale jets and the recent inauguration of the H-125 helicopter assembly line, well, they show this partnership is already about building things together.
All right, let's turn our attention to macro politics and governance. We have 4 key updates for you in this section.
First up, the Supreme Court has issued a really significant warning about toxic speech coming from public officials. They're citing the risk that this kind of speech can stigmatize entire communities. So, the court has signaled a clear interest in establishing some kind of enforceable guidelines to foster what it calls fraternity, which, of course, raises big questions about the downstream consequences of political rhetoric.
In a completely separate, but you could argue equally important warning, the court is also tackling technology. It has flagged the misuse of generative AI in legal documents. Specifically, they've seen instances where lawyers have submitted fabricated, hallucinated case law. And let me tell you, this is being treated as a serious threat to the very administration of justice.
And to understand just how real this is, get a load of this example. Justice Nagaratna pointed to a case cited in a legal filing titled Mercy versus Mankind. The problem? This case never happened. It was entirely fabricated by an AI. It's a pretty stark illustration of the challenge the legal system is now facing.
Third, turning to education, Delhi University has imposed a 1-month blanket ban on all protests and public meetings. Now, this comes after clashes broke out on campus linked to student agitation over new University Grants Commission equity regulations. The university administration says it's citing risks to public peace and safety.
And finally, in this section, we've got an economic concern coming out of Kashmir. There's a growing sense of vulnerability in the region's absolutely vital Apple sector, an industry that supports nearly 7 million people. In light of new international trade agreements, there's now a call for an all-party assembly meeting to really dig in and discuss how to safeguard this critical industry.
In our corporate and business intelligence section, we have 2 key stories for you, focusing on consumer trends and the tech giant Infosys.
So, let's look at the data from the National Consumer Helpline because it reveals a fascinating trend. When it comes to getting refunds, one sector absolutely dominates. As you can see, e-commerce grievances account for over 70% of all the refunds facilitated by the helpline between April of last year and January of this year.
To put that in perspective, out of the 52 crore rupees in total refunds processed across 31 different sectors, nearly 37 crore rupees came from the e-commerce sector alone. That is a staggering concentration of consumer disputes in a single area.
Now, shifting to the tech sector, Infosys chairman Nandan Nilekani offered a really fascinating way to think about the current AI shift. He argues that for large companies, the challenge isn't an opportunity gap. I mean, everyone sees the potential. The real problem, he says, is execution risk. He's stressing that adopting AI is not a simple add-on. It requires a deep, fundamental operational change.
And you know what? The market seems to have really appreciated this clarity. Following his comments, Infosys stock rose 4.5%.
The company also put some hard numbers on the table, disclosing over $280 million in AI-related revenue just for the last quarter, which now accounts for about 5.5% of their total revenue. Now for our Editorial Digest, where we'll look at two distinct perspectives on major global and domestic challenges.
We've got two pretty contrasting arguments. On one side, Shashi Tharoor is looking outward. He's arguing that the global rules-based order is eroding, with powerful nations starting to reshape or just flat-out ignore international law. Then, in contrast, you've got Rajesh Shukla looking inward. He's arguing that India's domestic statistical systems are failing to keep up with market growth, which is preventing effective, evidence-based regulation.
Tharoor's warning is particularly stark. He concludes that we risk moving from a world governed by rules to one where might makes right. The crucial point he leaves us with is this really powerful and frankly chilling phrase, power may once again tame law.
And now for our final section, a quick snapshot of the market close from yesterday, the 17th of February.
The major indices all closed in positive territory. The BSE Sensex was up 0.21% to close at 83,450. The Nifty 50 gained 0.17%, closing at 25,725. We actually saw stronger performance in smaller stocks, with the BSE 250 Small Cap Index rising by a very healthy 0.86%.
That concludes the Daily Intelligence Briefing. Thank you.